masyado. Halika Tulara.
Welcome to Kimberly and Deep's wedding ceremony. I am their friend Jane. On behalf of the couple, to those of you who have traveled from far distances, including North Carolina and abroad, we're so glad you could join us. Family and friends from here in town and the Bay Area, thanks for coming. For those of you who just happen to be strolling by, welcome, and please join us for the ceremony. Hooray for Sunday Streets! With the streets open for activities and music, it's great to skate or bike or take a stroll and people watch. It's also a great place to meet people, nurture friendships, or to proclaim love for one another. That's what we're here to witness today. Valencia Street has figured prominently into Kimberly and Deep's lives. They were both living on Valencia Street about 5 blocks apart several years ago when they first spotted each other. Kimberly was walking to meet friends for dinner. Deep bicycled by on his way to get a burrito. They have since spent a lot of time together and spread a lot of happiness on this street. I first got to know Deep when he asked me to help him transform the concrete driveway that was here into a vibrant front yard and social space. We had worked on the project for some months when I increasingly heard about this woman he was dating. I could tell it was getting serious when he asked me to start including her on the design meetings. So I thought I'd better get to know her a bit. She and I agreed to meet for tea. We talked, and we've been talking over cups of tea ever since. Those of you who know Deep or Kimberly know they passionately live their values. I have seen many people, friends and strangers alike, respond to their ebullient personalities. It's why I refer to them as sparkle and shine. But behind all the sparkliness and shininess, the flashy costumes and danceable music, there's not only a genuine enthusiasm for life, but more importantly, a heartfelt compassion for and engagement with each specific person they encounter. It is this common element I see as one of their deepest resonances. I have been honored to be their friend during the time of their courtship, to have seen them come together and realize in each other that they have found a true complement. As the front yard you're now joining us in came together, there was another moment when I realized just how serious they were getting with each other. During the construction of the stairs, some concrete was being poured to make the stoop we're standing on. I arrived for a site visit one day, and they had marked their names in the wet concrete. Now this was something that was going to last. So it's only fitting that their wedding today will inaugurate this stoop, which will welcome them home for years to come. So let's get to it. This being Sunday Streets, we'll roll with any interruptions or ambient noises. I'll begin by introducing you to Kimberly's brother, Christopher Conley, who will be followed by the couple's dear friend, Tom Radulovich.
Start the ceremony. The bride and groom have asked that we observe a moment of silence for the loss of their single lives.
I can't really top that. So Deep and Kimberly asked me if I would say a few words about marriage and relationships, which is kind of humorous because I'm perhaps one of the least qualified people to be talking about these things. I think it speaks to the depth of our friendship and also to Deep and Kimberly's sense of humor. But I'm a good policy nerd. I can do research. I was looking into best practices. And I discovered a few things that I want to share with you. One is an insight that I've long had about San Francisco, that San Francisco is a place where you can come to reinvent yourself, or if you're lucky enough, like Kimberly, to be born here, you get to reinvent yourself without coming here. Or maybe you can go away and then come back, reinvent it. And it's a place where you can endeavor to become your best self, the best person who you can possibly be. It's a city of people really striving to be better people. And sometimes those people are fortunate enough to find another person who can join them in that quest that's trying to become their best self, and that will sort of help you understand, be a good mirror, help you understand your weak spots, your strong spots, and join you in that quest to be your best self. And I think Deep and Kimberly are very lucky. These are two people who are good people, engaged in the world, working really hard, and they found each other. And just to watch the ways in which they've kind of come together, and you know, that they strengthen each other, that they support each other, is very inspiring. Then I think if we look at the culture, there's a lot of messages from the culture that romantic love, partnership, is the one escape. It's a wonderful world, it's an engaging world, but it's also a hard world. It's sometimes a mean world, it's a thoughtless world, it's a cruel world. It's a very disorderly world. You know, there's a lot of temptation to kind of, well, we're a couple, we found each other, so here we are, this is all we need. But to stay engaged, to really say, all right, we're going to try and be our best selves, we're going to be our best selves in this relationship, and we're going to stay engaged with this community, all of you, expanding our circles ever wider, to engage that disorderly, sometimes cruel, but often wonderful and delightful world, and to do it together is a real blessing. So Deep and Kimberly, you inspire me, and I hope you inspire all the people here. Of course you inspire all the people here, they're all here. To be those kind of people, to be that couple, and all together we get to be that community. So I'm just so happy to be here today with all of you, and Deep and Kimberly, I love you guys. You're awesome.
Yeah.
And much happiness to you guys.
I finally get to be on the mic officially. I want to thank you all. Wow, I'm honored and touched that so many of you are here today. Holy crap. I'm also super thankful for everyone who's worked so hard to make this wedding what it is. Especially you, Jane, but all of you guys and a lot of others. Thank you so much for all you've done. But what is a wedding? And more importantly, what is a marriage? I have to admit that I think neither Kimberly nor I know exactly what we're getting ourselves into here today. However, the good news is we're taking this step into the unknown together. And the really amazing news is that that's pretty much the plan of record for as long as we both can imagine. Hopefully, for the rest of our lives. I think marriage is one of those things that's kind of impossible to know what it is until you're in it. But I do have an educated guess, so that's what I want to share with you briefly here today. Assuming I don't cry a lot, and assuming I don't forget all this. Near as I can tell, marriage is a bit of a promise and a bit of a gamble. The promise is something I first understood at Pete and Amy's wedding about 7 years ago. And it's a promise to always turn towards your partner rather than away. To share more rather than less, no matter what happens. In the end, it's a promise to be honest, to be intentional, and above all else, to try, even when you don't want to, especially when you don't want to. And that's a tall order. But I've never met a woman who makes that promise more possible, or so very, very, very rewarding as this one. that's the promise part. I think the gamble is really the tricky bit. Because the gamble is about betting your future on someone else. And can you change together, grow together, and build together, even as you change separately, grow separately, and build separately? And I think that's the question mark behind every marriage. How do you cope with change while still encouraging growth? And it's tricky because you can nail the promise part of a marriage, but still grow and change in ways that mean you shouldn't necessarily stay together. And I think that's an important point. There's no right or wrong outcome. We all know people who have stayed together for the wrong reasons, just as we know people who've split up for the right ones. So how then do you take such a chance on someone else? I think it comes down to having a sense of your partner's character and of their values and of your own values. And I've been impressed with Kimberly's character ever since early on when she started questioning my values.
Keep questioning.
And my values aren't easy ones. I honestly struggle to live up to them every day. But in a world on the cusp of ecological collapse, where our society's values that we've all absorbed for things like fast, cheap, and disposable are the biggest part of the problem, finding someone else willing to question values and to look at all of our lives in that light means literally the world to me. I knew this was going to be a tough one. So babe, it is a big gamble, but you make me feel truly lucky. So that's it. That's my educated guess about what we're doing and what we're headed towards. I do have one last thought, which is, what are you all doing here? Why is this moment important?
We love you!
That's a better answer. Okay, that's a better answer than my educated guess. I think it comes down to the same sorts of things, right? I make promises all the time, and the big ones, the really big ones, I'm really good at keeping. But some of the little ones, usually involving cookies, tend to fall by the wayside. But to make a promise in front of so many people who we love and respect, and whose love and respect is important to us, that's a big promise. More than any rings on our fingers or any papers we might sign, that's a real commitment. And similarly, when you're talking about taking a chance on your future, a gamble on where things are going to go, who better to surround you at the very outset than all the people from your past and your present and hopefully your future who have encouraged your growth and change so far. So from the bottom of both of our hearts, and I'm gambling by speaking from her, from the bottom of both of our hearts, thank you so much for being here. It really is important to us.
Peanut gallery. It's an understatement to say that meeting you has been an amazing experience. A chance meeting on the street, a couple rickshaw rides, several surprise dances later, here I am getting married. But it feels so right to be here with you. And it's because you're such an inspiration. You use your powers for good and live your values every day. You make even the hard ones look easy. It's a lot of work, but I love your passion, and I love that your quirks make sense to me. You reach people by having the courage, determination, and passion, and sparkle to do the right thing. You've shown me what a difference one person can make. I believe in your superpowers. This isn't a sugar-coated decision. There are no notions of happily ever after. We're old enough and honest enough to know that there's a lot more to learn about each other and our togetherness. There may be frustration and miscommunication to come, but I've learned so much about myself and about you to make putting up with your megalomania worth it. Marriage is my way of saying that I want to keep learning about you for a long, long, long time. Amplifying each other's strengths, tending each other's weaknesses, helping each other grow and expand along the way. It's hard to express how truly excited and hopeful and thrilled I am about joining our lives, philosophies, and values to make each other and the world around us a better place in whatever ways we can. Together we can make even more of a difference. I can't wait to walk, cuddle, and dance our journey together. You've touched so You've touched so many people. Just look around us. But I'm the lucky one who gets to marry you. You more than double my happiness. I can't wait to call you my husband.
The couple will now exchange their vows.
Kimberly, I choose you because our path together holds more wonders than my path alone. I vow to always be intentional with you. I vow to hold your hand when we fight. I vow to defer to you in matters involving time management skills. I vow to appreciate the things you do that make our lives better, especially the ones that I'm not wired to notice. I vow to love you, even when you don't think you're enough. I vow to encourage you to take more naps. And I vow to encourage you to change and grow in the directions you choose, regardless of what that means for me. I vow to always try to get better at love. Thank you for choosing me.
Don't go away yet. Hookums. I vow to treat you like the sparkly treasure you are. I vow to grow with you while staying true to myself. I vow to always come back into our tent. I vow to strive to be my best self for you, to right my wrongs, and to stamp my feet like a 5-year-old when I can get away with it. I vow to always be on your team and to remind you that you're not perfect in every way. I vow to always share what's in my heart even when I'm afraid. I vow to stop whatever I'm doing and dance with you in the kitchen. I offer myself joyfully to you. Of all your fans and admirers, I love you the most. Thank you for choosing me.
Conley to be your lawfully wedded wife?
I do.
Do you, Kimberly, take Amandeep Singh Jawa to be your lawfully wedded husband?
I do.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the state of California, I now pronounce you husband and wife. I now present to you Mrs. Kimberly Conley and her husband, Mr. Amandeep Jawa.
Upstairs for a quick break, but don't go away.
We'll be back in a few minutes to hand out cupcakes.